Well, first of all, I was very pleased that we'd heard just before PMQs that he will be going to Sharm el Sheikh for the next COP meeting. I think that's really important, and I know we've got lots of issues domestically, but I'm really glad he went there. And I was glad that he confirmed very clearly that in his view, we can't have that long-term prosperity that he is so focused on if we don't also focus on climate change. And that is the big picture that's so important for our long-term future. So I was very pleased that he was so clear with that commitment.
Do you have concerns about how seriously this administration does take climate change? Coming off the back of Boris Johnson, he made it such a key part of his premiership. Rishi Sunak has said that he's going to U-turn on the policy from Liz Truss to have more onshore wind farms in a time of austerity, potentially with spending cuts, fiscal constraints. Do you think it might slip down the agenda under Rishi Sunak?
Well, I think it's really important that it doesn't slip down the agenda. And I had a chance to speak to the Prime Minister again immediately after PMQs, and he was very clear that he doesn't want it to slip down the agenda. We've obviously got a lot of domestic challenges on our economy, but so do other countries across the world. And so I'm very glad he is going to COP. That's a sign that it won't be slipping down the agenda, and we need to keep focused on that. We need energy security. To have energy security, we need the focus on renewables. I think many of us who are interested in climate issues were also very pleased that he had taken fracking off the table and made it very clear that we shouldn't be doing that. We need to focus on the cleaner, greener renewables as well. You
say that you're very glad that he is going to go to the COP climate change summit, that shows that he's taking it seriously. Some would say that what it really shows is that he doesn't want to be upstaged by Boris Johnson. Do you think the timing of that's a bit strange? He only said he was going after Boris Johnson said he was.
I think, everybody wants a Prime Minister to be in 50 million different places at once, and they can't be everywhere. And obviously he's taken over very, very recently, only last week, at a time when we need a lot of focus on our own economy, and we're waiting, of course, for the economic statement. So it is absolutely right that he spent time this week really focusing on that. And I'm glad that he's therefore now in a position to be going off to meet other world leaders. And that's where he will be. He will be meeting the other world leaders who are there in Egypt next week.
I do want to, if I may, ask you a question about the story that we are leading on today, which is the immigration scenes that we're seeing, the number of small boats crossing the channels, and of course I was going to say Home Secretary there, but the Immigration Minister, I should say, Robert Jenrick, confirming to me today that there will be a judicial review into conditions at Manston. How concerned are you about what is happening?
Well, I think, it is really concerning, and it's really difficult, and it's a huge number of people, which is putting huge pressure on all sorts of different local services. But I also think it's another reason why we need to look at the long-term causes of why people are leaving different countries. I mean, when I was in the Horn of Africa 2 weeks ago, what I saw was just devastating. I mean, we've heard about droughts in Ethiopia in the past, of course, but nothing like what's happening now. It's the worst in at least the past 40 years. And where you have these climate impacts, sometimes with conflict impacts, you then do get instability. That causes migration. That impacts on us back at home. And that's why it's also so important that we remember that for our own security and stability at home, we need to be investing in support and development of other countries too.